wakatali alikuwe umo kama taya tulipoka kapiki monga tamata wakatali alikuwe umo kama taya tulipoka kapiki monga hora no kupoka wena wakatana tahu tamata wakatali alikuwe umo kama taya tulipoka kapiki monga tamata wakatali alikuwe umo kama taya tulipoka kapiki monga tamata wakatali alikuwe umo kama taya tulipoka kapiki monga hora no kupoka wena wakatana tahu. Break it down and get you into the groove.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this really special show. Today we are doing a showcase of Rave Muzik's Crusaders of Rave. This is a show dedicated to Stormtrooper, as he's the one that provided the showcase for today. In case you don't know what Rave Muzik is, like I was said, that is a label from Stormtrooper, where he has his where he can be his creative self and also get others to work together with him. So for today, we are listening to the 48th release from Rave Muzik. There are going to be 11 tracks on this show tonight. And later on in the show, so I think in 1 hour from now, we'll be joined by Stormtrooper himself to have like a short interview about this whole release, this whole project, and let's see, how long does this? Okay, so it's about a 1 hour release. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's show, and if you have any questions, please put it here on the chat. Also, don't mind my wife; she is gaining some more gains and strength. This is actually what I should be doing, but I am not. So let's do a quick shout out to Drastic Music! Woo! En Dennis de gewone 1990. So let's listen to the first track of the show. And the first track of the show is going to be DJ Elmo with Take Me Higher. So that was DJ Elmo with Take Me Higher. Well, what I really like about this track is that you definitely have that old school feeling. The early hardcores where you have those piano melodies, those really great kick drums. Yeah, you know, this is part of my generation, how we grew up. It does sound different than what we actually used to. But yeah, it's overall a really good track. So I'll say let's go over to the next one, and that is going to be Stormtrooper with Destinatum. Destinatum? Oh, Destinatum. There we go. So that was Stormtrooper with Destinatum. Well, this is really a great track as you also love or at least I do love those acid sounds in there, and it really brings back into time. And shout out to Triple Star Music. What up? Woo! Welcome to today's show about Rave Muzik, Crusaders of Rave. And also let's do a quick shout out to DJ Cavelli, Rave Wisp, Moloch, and Drastic Music to you guys. Well, Cavelli, the layout that you see here is actually an old one. I've been using this for a little over a year. But the reason you never see this is because I hardly use it. I don't use it because this is like only a quick solution because I needed to have another screen for when I play games or do whatever. But when I noticed that streaming games is pretty much impossible with this computer, I hardly even use this layout. Another reason why I don't use this layout is because I didn't make it. This is like bought in store, and yeah. All the other scenes that you see on my other shows, that is made by me, and yeah, it's different. So I'm not really proud of of this over here. So yeah, let's go over to the next track. So the next track is going to be Cyclonics with Nation of Love. So that was Cyclonics with Nation of Love. Well, those arpeggios, they were like awesome and great, and yeah, you know, so far this whole release has brought me back way into the past, and yeah, it's I cannot say really much than that. Actually, is I am really enjoying this release so far. DJ Cavelli, thank you very much for the 2 gifted subs. Woo! This one goes out to you. And also want to say hello to Kiowas, and yeah, thank you for your follow here on the NDXJCL channel, Neodash Zerox. This isn't a show what I usually do. Normally I do a show every Monday on JCO Live where I discuss JCore stuff, listen to music, and have a show about like this. And twice, 2 Tuesdays in a month, I do have another kind of show where I also do stuff like the last Tuesday of the month doing Gabberdisco stuff. So, and the second Tuesday of the month usually, the first Tuesday of the month we are doing Ramen Break nowadays. So yeah, what I'm doing is only music shows, talk about a little bit stuff and listen to music. As today we have a showcase going on of Rave Muzik, Crusaders of Rave, and this is also thanks to Stormtrooper for providing this release. For me, it's the first time to hear this in full. In general, this is the first time for me to hear this release. and I am really excited to show all these releases together with you guys. And I want to do a quick shout out to T-and Moller. Welcome to the show. So, yeah, let's go over to the next one. The next one is going to be Hysteria with Happiness in Hardcore. Hysteria, Happiness in Hardcore. Oh, you can definitely feel the happy vibes with this track. Yeah, you know, it makes me feel like I want to dance or something like that. At least head not what is it? Head bopping. This is head bopping. So next one is going to be Project Ecstasy with Rave Revolution. So that was Project Ecstasy with Rave Revolution. So, yeah, as this is a showcase, of course, there's also a promotion for this release. The release date of this album is is November 11. So, not only you guys have a showcase, you guys are also the really first people and the first viewers or listeners. It depends what you guys are. That actually hear this track in full. So far, for me, all these 5 tracks, was it 5? Yeah, 5 tracks are absolute bangers. And if you also like and support Stormtrooper, then you can, I just posted a link on Twitch. If you guys are on YouTube, you cannot see the link because I am not 100% live on YouTube. Hello, Superior Jimmy and also Kuro Soundworks. Welcome to today's show. Woo! This one goes out to you. And also to Sauce DJ. So yeah, it is early rave. Is it early rave? Yeah, it's early rave in a new jacket. Well, I really definitely like this release so far. We still have 6 tracks to go, and in about 20 minutes, Stormtrooper will join the show for a quick interview. So if you guys have some questions for Stormtrooper, then you can think of it now, and then you can definitely ask him some questions later. Let's go over to the next track then. And the next one is going to be Techno Posse with In Ya Face.
Techno Posse in your face, 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 Techno Posse in your face.
And it goes like this. Check it.
that was Techno Posse with In Your Face. When I heard the track just before at the very first, I thought, okay, this is going to be, I think it's going to be a good track. But I didn't expect the kick drum coming in that hard in my speaker. So, yeah, definitely a 10 out of 10 for me. So, yeah, yeah. This whole release has been really amazing so far. We still have, what's it like, 5 more tracks to go. Oh, and we also still have a Rave Muzik Mega Mix. How long is this then? Oh, the Rave Muzik Mega Mix is 5 minutes. Okay. So, yeah, let's go over to the next one. It's going to be DJ Fireblade with Take Me There. So welcome back with the last track that you just saw. That was DJ Fireblade with "Take Me There," and now this is the moment that you guys have been waiting for, as now we are going to have the interview with Stormtrooper. Let's see. Is this it? There we go. No, there. So, yeah, Stormtrooper. Now is the right one. So, yeah, thank you very much for making time for us, so you can give us a small interview. Oh, my damn light settings. I really need a new camera for this. So, yeah, thanks to you, we are able to do a showcase of today's show. And yeah, we are talking about Crusaders of Rave from the Rave Muzik. So, for the people that still doesn't know who Stormtrooper is, can you explain to us who is Stormtrooper?
Oh, that's a difficult question, and I could talk about it for a really long time. Well, Stormtrooper, that's me. I started out doing music a long time ago. Actually, I started out in the 90s when I started listening to rave, hardcore, techno, whatever stuff. I was in my bedroom fooling around with sounds on my Amiga 500. And ever since then, I tried to improve. And since I think 2004, I'm doing vinyl releases. The first 10 to 15 years were kind of strictly industrial. Well, not strictly industrial. It was all kinds of strange noise. Hardcore. Yeah, everything that was banging. I was not limited to one style. I was doing whatever I felt. And it always had a kind of a rave influence. I always liked to have those melodies and atmospheres in there from back in the 90s where I started my rave experience. And in 2017, I thought, it is time for a change, and I should finally do what I've kind of always been doing, but I should take it to the next step and commit that I'm doing it. So I started a label called Rave Muzik, and ever since I dedicated myself to doing stuff that sounds like it was from the 90s but is actually new and can also be played on modern sound systems, because most of the stuff from the 90s sounds a bit shitty nowadays.
Old.
The bass drums are old. Yeah, exactly. The bass drums are not really pounding. The mix down is a bit blurry. And yeah, I tried to improve that and give it a modern touch, but still a 90s feeling.
Yeah, because I noticed, especially with Techno Posse, with In Your Face, there's like an old school hardcore track, but that bass was pumping. Holy hell. So yeah, so I definitely understand what you mean, because I also have like hardcore stuff from Thunderdome, and you can hear that the quality difference is really noticeable.
Yeah, I mean, think how the technical improvement has been over the last 10 or 20 years. I mean, back then you had to fight MIDI timing problems and had to record everything in one take. And oh my God, what a disaster if you had like a 6-minute track and like at 5:30 you had a dropout and everything was shit because you were not able to cut anything. It had to be in one take. And nowadays it's also futuristic and there are no limitations. You can do whatever you want to.
Yeah. So, okay, where did your love for rave music started, and how did it start?
You mean the original love for rave music back in the 90s?
Yeah, when you were just young, because I'm guessing maybe when you were 9 years old, you heard those kind of music somewhere, I guess?
When I was 9 years old, that was in 1989. I think back then, one of my older sisters came up with some EBM and a little bit of acid house. I remember she gave me a CD that was called Acid House Fever, with like Stacker Humanoid and Check to the Sound of the Underground, and yeah, she had a lot of gothic vinyl from the 80s, those dark stuff that those who started to use drum computers and synthesizers. And I think that was basically the foundation for everything that she brought me in contact with electronic music. And from there on, it kind of evolved. And then I can't really remember the year I bought my first Rave the City CD, and
Rave
then at some point the first.
That's from Charlie Ocean Tio, right?
No, not really. I'm not sure if there is one special guy compiling it, but it was, I think, a party in Den Haag, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Dark Raver was one of the main guys involved in that.
Oh, okay.
I'm probably not 100% right, but yeah, that was. I saw an advertisement on TV. Back then, you had advertisements for hardcore CDs.
Also in Germany?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Didn't know that.
Yeah, there were a few that actually made it into German television. And yeah, Rave the City Volume 1 was one of my first techno hardcore CDs.
Mm-hmm.
And from then, yeah, first Thunderdomes, and then I got in touch with the German rave scene, like Mayday, and I don't really remember what else, but yeah, all that stuff. Oh, of course, Bonsai Records started being a name for me, and I started buying the compilations. Yeah, and a really big point in my life, also it sounds kind of funny, was in '94 when a German television station called Viva broadcasted Mayday 1994. I was at home connecting my television to my stereo and had blasting sound throughout the night. Sorry, Mom and Dad. But I had kind of my own private rave in my bedroom. Nice. And yeah, that was a life-changing moment, actually.
So, okay, yeah, because you're also a DJ, how did you start it first? Did you start like first as a producer, then a DJ, or you started first as a DJ and then a producer?
Well, it kind of came up at the same time.
Oh, okay.
I think the producing was a little bit earlier, because back then it was really hard getting your hands on CD players for DJing. And yeah, I never bought and DJed with vinyl, I have to admit. Never.
Well, that is possible. Not everybody does it.
Yeah, so in I think 95, I already had a huge stack of CDs, and I thought, okay, if I want to start DJing, I would have to buy everything on vinyl again, or I tried to get one of those futuristic pitchable CD players, and yeah, I think I bought two for like 500 Deutschmarks back then.
Per piece or for both?
For one piece. So that would be 250 euros nowadays, which would be really cheap. But back then it was. I was 15 years. I was 15 years old. It was like, wow, I have to sell my soul for that.
Yeah, okay, but 500 Deutsche Mark, it's also quite expensive back then, in '95, because with 500 Deutsche Mark, you could do a lot more than 250 euros now.
Yeah, of course.
So you were 15 years old and you bought two of these CD players.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think my father gave me a little credit, and then I paid him back slowly but surely. But yeah, I got my first pitchable CD players. They had no pitch bend. They just had a little scale with a ±6.
Yeah.
And if you were not on time when you started the CD, you had to change the pitch for a little time to compensate that, because there was no pitch bend. It was really difficult, but it was actually a good way to learn it. You had to listen to the tracks and memorize how fast they are, because ±6% is not a lot.
No, it's definitely not a lot. Since and actually, if I DJ, I usually tend to do +15. So, a +6, that is really, I do understand, because you really need to know your tracks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
I even made handwritten lists with tracks of the same BPM. So I had like a list with 150, 155, 160. I really spent a lot of work into that.
Wow.
But it was so much fun.
Okay, but
experiencing that.
How about those BPMs? Because back then you didn't have like automatic BPM counter. How did you figure out the BPM?
That is true. And now that I think about it, I have no idea how I came up with the exact BPM. I know that at one point I had kind of reference tracks for each speed, and I compared the tracks, but I have no idea where the original BPM number came from. Maybe there was a CD where they had it written on, but I'm absolutely not sure.
Yeah, that is possible. Oh, wait. Now I suddenly remember I did saw something like that in the past on some CDs. So that is possible. Okay.
It was quite rare, but you had a few CDs with that.
Okay, and if you have some tracks with comparable BPMs, then you can compare to each other. Yeah. Okay, nice. And how about the producing? How did that start?
Well, I was always into gaming, so back then I had, next to my NES and Super Nintendo, I had a Amiga 500, because my parents thought I should have a real computer to work with and write and stuff. And somehow I got in touch with the first sequencer, and I actually don't know where all the information came from, but I bought a small sampling unit for the Amiga 500, where you had basically two chinch in and one, what's it called in English? Klinke, the big one.
Tunes? No?
Never mind.
Oh, yeah.
Never mind. It had chinch in, and you could hook the CD player or whatever audio source to it and sample for like 5 seconds.
Oh wait, yeah, I actually saw a documentary about that. It was like some kind of CD you need to load in, and after you can record a sample for 5 seconds, and that's it. And with that you can cut out.
That was a real hardware sampler you're talking about. But what I had was basically, it was a small box with chinch in, and you had to hook it to the printer port.
Yeah.
Back then there was no MIDI or something on the Amiga. You had to put it onto the printer port, and then you could save it to a floppy disk.
And the floppy disk was only 1.44 MBs.
Yeah, I think so. What was it? Wasn't it smaller? Not sure. But 1.4 megabytes sounds kind of right. Yeah, so there wasn't
not a lot.
No, that's absolutely not a lot. But if you think of it, one of those samples had like 20 to 30 kilobytes, so you could fit in quite a lot. But for every track you made, I made a floppy disk for each track I I wrote. So for each track, you had to change the floppy disk. That was kind of a lot of work, even with 2 floppy disks.
Oh man, I don't even know how how that would work. So somewhere halfway the track, you need to switch floppy disk.
No.
Oh.
For one track, you had 1 floppy disk, but it was not like you could open up whatever track you wanted to. You had to open one track and had the right floppy disk to load all the sounds.
Oh, so okay. Okay, yeah.
And there were no preset sounds at all. Everything I had back then was sampled from CDs, or I even scanned the audio tracks of Amiga games I had with it was called a freezer card. You could hack into the game, you could alter the number of your lives and stuff, and you could also scan the audio file in the track. And I cut out little pieces of the games because they had really good sounds, usable sounds back then. And so I started to grow a collection of sounds and started making music. I have all the tunes still on my hard disk that I did back then. I recorded them on an audio tape, and later on I ripped that audio tape into MP3.
Oh wow, okay.
So somewhere on my hard drive there are still those tracks from 1994 and 5, but that's not really comparable to what I do nowadays.
Okay, but what if you remake those tracks into with all the experience you have now with 1994, so that it's 37 years of experience? No, 27 years
27.
of experience.
Yeah, actually, sometimes I listen to those old tunes and I'm surprised what kind of ideas I had back then. Because, as you said, I wasn't experienced at all, so I had no knowledge of how a track should be done and what kind of build-ups you can do. I just had to do it from my gut feeling. And there were some really shitty ideas I did, and some stuff that was surprisingly good, and I actually thought about using newer stuff. And I have a small list of tunes that I am actually thinking about redoing.
Oh, nice.
I'm not sure if I ever do it, but nice melodies in there, or cool drum variations, some break beats I did out of totally not breakbeat sounds. Just ideas like that I wouldn't think of nowadays, now that I have certain patterns I am thinking in. So it's good to listen to somebody who has no experience at all and just get inspiration.
Yeah, I could definitely see something in that. Let's see, we still have 4 tracks to go, so I will say let's go over to the next one, and that's going to be Cyclonics with Awakening.
Awakening.
And that was Cyclonics with Awakening. And in case you guys haven't seen it yet already, we have an interview with Stormtrooper over here. Yeah, Rave Muzik is his label. It consists of Rave Muzik in general, I guess. Tell us something a little bit more about Rave Muzik and yeah, your label.
The basic concept of the label, as I mentioned, is the tunes should have a 90s vibe, 90s melodies, kind of the elements that made that special 90s sound, but with modern bass drums, modern sound in general. And what is also really important, you maybe notice it from that compilation, we have no stylistic limitations, because rave back then was well, if you take a real rave, you could put a breakbeat DJ next to a hardcore DJ, next to an acid DJ, next to a trance DJ, all in the same area, and you had the same. You had the same crowd, you had the same audience, there were the same people dancing all night. They were taking it as a journey through different styles of the music they love. And that is also what I want to have with rave music. I don't want to limit myself to happy hardcore or hard trance or whatever. If I feel the vibe, if I feel the track, it doesn't matter if it's 140 or 200 BPM, and it doesn't matter if it has a 303 or it has Hoover sounds or none of that, and just has something totally different. It's cool then.
Yeah, because this is what I did realize, is that every track is so totally different from each other. And this is, matter of fact, yesterday we had a CD showcase of Rough Sketch. Rough Sketch is actually one of my favorite hardcore artists. But also in this album, I can hear that he has all different kind of inspirations, and none of those tracks sounds the same. And I have exactly the same feeling with this release. We are 8 tracks in there, and all of them, they sound amazing, and I definitely catch your drift about that. You can put a breakbeat DJ next to a hardcore DJ and an acid DJ there somewhere. I cannot really imagine this, because I was never really old enough to go to those kind of parties back then. But now that you mention this is actually the kind of feeling that I would like to see as well, because then it's not the whole evening the same kind of style, but it's a build up.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it with every party generation, it got harder to have that concept, because back then everything was about the party. It was not really about what DJ played. It was hey, there is a party, let's go there. And nowadays everybody's looking for names and wants to hear a certain style to be sure that this is the music they really like, because maybe they only heard like 2 out of 80 styles that are there, but they won't risk of hearing a style that they couldn't like.
Yeah.
So they limit themselves to just one style, and as soon as it sounds somehow different, they complain.
Yeah, and also nowadays it's just harder and harder and harder. And there shouldn't be no no limits to how hard it can be.
I wouldn't even limit that to the hardcore scene or whatever scene you want to call it. I think it's the same in house. It's the same with techno, with trance. As soon as the offbeat bass sounds a little different, the style has a different name, and you have people that don't want to go to a party if it sounds like that. It's not really a matter of the style. It's a problem the whole techno scene has, or maybe it's not a problem the techno scene has, maybe it's a problem humanity has, because everyone we're getting open-minded for everything, and at the same time our minds close down, we get so narrow-minded with little details. Think about it.
Yeah, no, actually, you are kind of right, because now that I am looking back into my own experiences with parties, this is actually, yeah, that is actually true what you say. Because every time if I go to a party, every DJ, they play the same. Of course, I was one of those persons back then in the past that I only wanted to listen to hardcore or nothing else. And if there's something else in between, I would leave and I will call the DJ like, ooh. But I have been to my last real party was Thunderdome back in 2019. That was my last real big party, and I got bored because the only thing what you hear there is a boom, 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 boom. I was really bored as hell. So yeah, I definitely catch the drift, and also with the most CD compilations, you hear music styles all the same, or maybe just one sidetracking. But yeah, like this Crusaders of Rave release is like you have so many different kind of styles in there, and it fits together. I would definitely visit a party like this one time.
It's kind of funny because on the one hand, I agree with you that there are different styles on this compilation, and on the other hand, I think it could be even wider spread to cover the full range of what I liked back then. I mean, there could be like an acid house track with like only 125 BPM, like the old hard floor tracks or something like that, or Emmanuel Top or something like that. So a real down-tempo stuff, or even a complete breakbeat track like Night Force stuff back then. Something like that. So what we have on there is, I think it all fits together because it has a certain bass style, let's call it that. But it's still only a fraction of the range I would like to have.
Yeah. Eventually, it all leads back to techno. Detroit techno. Eventually.
Yeah.
No, but yeah.
It was really important for me that each artist on that compilation has its own unique sound, that we don't have two that could be mistaken for each other. I think each one of them, you hear that it's a different artist. Except for Cyclonix, he has 2 tracks on there.
Oh yeah, I see.
Everyone else is just 1 track, and you can hear that this is not the artist from the track before, and that one before was not the artist from that one before, and so on.
Okay. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about these artists. The artists are they also really big names within the scene? With even their own respectable scenes, or can you tell us something about that?
Yeah, I think most of them are not really what you would consider a big name. We have Zerox and Kratz, I never know how to pronounce them correctly, on there, who are kind of a really well-known up-tempo act from France. I think next to me, those are the most well-known act on this compilation. There are some guys on there that have been around for like 10 or even 20 years, but none of them really got famous. I'm sorry if I'm doing anybody wrong. Correct me right in the chat, but I think most of those guys have not become world stars. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, okay, but to become world stars, you need to do other kind of things and other kind of networking and maybe a little ass kissing. Did I say that out loud?
Um, yeah, I think some of those acts are maybe a bit hard to judge. Is judge the right word? For me, because for example, DJ Fireblade that you just heard 2 tracks ago, he's from Australia, and maybe quite known in Australia. I'm not really familiar with the Australian scene, so maybe I'm doing him wrong, and he is touring all over the continent.
Okay. No, because for me, all these names are I don't know them. But then again, there are like a million other different kind of DJs out there that I don't even know of. So
Exactly. So from some of those guys, I can say they are only hobby bedroom producers. Others are doing it for a really long time. But that is also one thing that was really important for me with rave music. I was never concerned if someone is really famous or it's his first track that he's sending over as a demo. I'm treating everybody equal.
okay.
So if I like it, I like it. If I don't like it, go and fuck off. I had one demo by a hardstyle guy that wrote me an essay of who is supporting his music and on which compilations he already was. And I said, thank you, but you are not impressing me. And even if you would impress me, that would not make your music better. And I am pretty sure you have not listened to the releases that are out by now, because your sound is absolutely not fitting on my label.
Okay, yeah. Well, you need to be your own, what's the word? Your own judge, I guess? I think that's the correct word. Because you are the one responsible for your label, and you are the one responsible to upkeep a certain quality to it.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Yeah, but one thing is for sure: the people on or the artists on this release, for me, definitely top notch. So
I totally agree.
So yeah, we are definitely not doing people wrong, because I am asking you a question what I don't know, and you have more experience with that. But yeah, I have been with music already for quite some time now, especially in the dance music. So I can usually also hear what quality music is and whatnot. So let's see, we still have 3 more tracks. So let's go over to Fletch 303 with Horripilation.
Horripilation, yeah. That's a special track.
Oh, that's a special track.
Yeah. You want to know up front why it's a special track?
Because it's made with 303s?
And that is right. Yeah, I think you could read that from the name. And it's completely done with hardware. There was no PC or computer or anything involved. It's just he turned on his stuff and started banging it out.
Okay, so this is the most authentic old school track in this release. Old school made track.
I would not say that. It is the most hardware track in there. And it's again a totally complete different style. But hear for yourself.
I'm so totally excited. So here is Flash 303 with Horripilation. So that was Flash 303 with Horripilation. Wow. If this track is totally made out of hardware and like in one go, that is really impressive. I usually see on YouTube when people perform like with their Chaos pads. You know what a Chaos pad is?
Yeah.
Okay, so people perform with 4 of those Chaos pads, with their whatever machines that they're using, and then they make a track on the fly. That is really impressive, and especially also with this, as you just mentioned to me that they are working with hardware and everything in one go. And also you just confirmed the biggest downside with this is if you make one mistake somewhere in your track, that means you need to start all over again.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about hardware. What kind of hardware are you using now? Only a computer, or do you also have like other kind of hardware?
Well, nowadays I am only using software. That said, the last 1.5 years I've been building a hardware synth with some of my friends.
Yeah.
Hang on, I'll show it. I just have to disconnect the cables here. This one. We built this from scratch.
You built it from scratch?
Yeah,
Okay.
we made everything ourselves. We had a basic plan how the inside should look and what does what.
Yeah.
But that is actually made from scratch by ourselves.
Oh, nice. Stormtrooper's Lear?
Lyra 8.
Lear 8. Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
that's nice.
And this little thingy here only does noisy, droney pads and stuff. So no melodies or something like that. It's just atmospheric, weird stuff. It has been finished last weekend, so I haven't used it in anything up to now. But I'm planning on doing that.
Okay.
And but I will mainly stick to the software because it sounds better than hardware. I'm so glad this is a one-on-one conversation and I'm not starting a discussion now. And you have more options. You're not that limited. But at the same time, I can understand that hardware is having a certain hype at the moment again because everybody wants to twist knobs and feel what they are doing while they're doing music.
No, but it's also the same way, even within the hardcore scene. There's an artist, I don't know if he is connected to Thunderdome, but you ever heard of an artist called MDMA?
Yeah, I know him. Not in person, but I know the live act, yeah.
Okay, the live act is not him playing with CDJs like everyone else. No, he's just using his, I think it's an MPC, or I don't know what it is.
Or a machine or something like that. He triggers patterns.
He triggers patterns and he just recreates those old tracks and go on the fly and just make, his own edits on the spot. Okay, I can definitely think of that. Eventually, he will get tired because the whole I don't know how long his set is, like 30 minutes, but the whole 30 minutes or 40 minutes or whatever, he is constantly only thinking the tracks and just finger drumming. So, but
yeah, as you said, he is doing the same thing as a drummer.
He's doing exactly the same thing as drummer, or like who was it? Was Lenny D? He worked with him. Is
Malke.
Malke, yeah.
Malke is the drummer.
The first time that I saw him playing hardcore drum and bass on an electric drum, that was for me like, oh wow, is this even possible?
Yeah.
So now, looking of at least for me as an artist and as somebody in the crowd, I like to see somebody perform with hardware because it's totally different and it's live, actual live.
I can understand that on one hand, but on the other hand, if you are down in the crowd and you're looking up on stage, you cannot tell the difference if somebody is twisting knobs on a synthesizer or just on a mixer with two CDJs. So there is no real difference there. Only if you have like a camera on top of what
True.
he's doing.
Or you don't even know if they have like a ghost DJ under. Because that also happened. So, but okay. No, when you're making tracks, what kind of program or programs are you using?
My sequencer, my DAW, is Cubase on PC. I'm not working with an Apple. I'm using a PC. And I have some standard VSTs that I'm always using. For example, Native Instruments Battery. Using that to trigger all my drum and percussive sounds.
Silence? Silence?
No.
No? Oh.
No.
Okay, so you're one of the few that actually don't use it, okay?
Yeah, I don't use Silent. I don't use Serum.
No?
No.
Okay, at least most of the hardcore producers I know that they are swearing. No, not swear. Yeah, they are swearing using those. It's swearing?
No, I know what you mean, but the right expression is they
swear to
rely
it.
on them. They swear to it. Oh yeah, okay.
They swear to it. Swearing is a total different kind of word.
Yeah.
Fucking silent.
No, but for lead sounds, most of the time I'm using Tone 2 synthesizers because what I found out 10 years after I graduated from school, one of the guys I graduated with afterwards founded Tone 2 and did software plugins, but we have not been in touch for 10 years. And then when there was a celebration of our the 10th anniversary of our graduation, we met and I said, yeah, I'm doing music now. And he said, oh yeah, I'm doing programs for doing music. Oh, okay, let's hook up. Oh, okay, cool. And
okay. So there was some kind of collaboration?
Yeah, not really a collaboration, but for everything that came out since 2009, I did demo tunes. So if you listen to tracks that should showcase what a synth can do by Tone 2, there's probably me somewhere involved.
So that is a collaboration because you are doing stuff for them. And they are helping you out?
Yeah, you're right. And in return, I got everything for free.
Well, that's good,
and
right?
if I wouldn't have, those are absolutely fantastic plugins, and I wouldn't miss them for anything in the world. Absolutely great stuff.
Well, I would say just keep on making great music, because yeah, I know that you already make great music, as we are, pretty much in contact for almost a year. And yeah, I have grown accustomed to you guys, and it is actually also the first time that I am speaking to you one-on-one. So yeah, then with other people, you definitely have different kind of conversations, and now with you and me just one-on-one, that's like we can go more in depth with all the stories and so. And so, okay, this is like some kind of stop word what I always use, and so. I always say this in Dutch. It's like in my memory. But this release, to everybody out there, we are, oh no, wait, not Amsterdams. You guys should support this album and go buy it on ravemuzik.bandcamp.com/album/Crusaders _Rave. And it's
By the
only...
way, It will be out on Thursday.
It will be out on Thursday. As I mentioned this already earlier, you guys have a showcase, so you are the first ones that actually heard these tracks here. So, £7, that is like dirt cheap.
Yeah, we don't want to make a fortune with that. We want to make it affordable for people.
So, that is noble. So, support Stormtrooper, support Rave Muzik, and with you guys supporting the label and the music, these guys can produce even more bangers for us. So maybe in the near future we can have more showcases. That's what we are working for, of course. So let's see, we still have 2 more tracks to go. So let's go over to SXF Thunder Scream with Take My Hand, the 2021 The Core Experience.
Return to paradise. Wonderland. Return to paradise.
And that was SXF with SSX Thunder Scream with Take My Hand 2021, the core experience. Wow, this track is definitely a bit louder and harder than the rest of them. And still, it does fit with the whole, what's the word I'm looking for? With the whole connection, with the whole ecosystem of the album. Is it even correct? Yeah,
I get what you're saying.
No, I'm trying to figure out the word, but I cannot find it. No, it's not collection. It's not genre. It's that even though that is still hard, it feels different than the rest of the tracks, but with some kind of way, it still fits.
Connected to the rest.
It's still connected to the rest. Yes, thank you. So damn, that was the word I was looking for. So yeah, well, I just told you this in private, and and at the beginning of the show that all the tracks that I hear today, that's for the first time, because this is also what I really like to do, is to listen releases with other people. So because a lot of people hear them for the first time as well, and for me it should be for the first time as well. So then both of us have like the same feeling, and we might also have like the same wow factor to it. And I can definitely say that this whole album is magnifique.
Taking you by surprise.
It definitely took me by surprise. I knew that you were doing like the whole rave music thing, and you did send me some samples about what your label has been doing. But this is the first time that I actually been listening to it, and I really enjoyed it. It's like for me, the quality of the music is, it's so great and high compared to most of the tracks what I hear what comes out on other sources or from other artists. It's it's totally
now imagine this is release number 48. That means there are 47 releases more!
Oh, snap, 47. So go to ravemuzik.bandcamp.com. For this release, you can buy it for... Oh, I thought it was £7, but apparently it was £9. So sorry about that. That was my bad.
Still cheap.
Still cheap. And you can also buy the whole digital discography on there. So you can get all 47 releases.
And as with this release, the releases themselves differ very much style-wise from release to release. We have some acid stuff, we have some hard trance stuff. We even have an early terror EP among them.
Okay.
Yeah. I thought it was a nice thing to do because terror was definitely a thing in the 90s that I enjoyed. So why not have an old school terror release?
True. You also have like psytrance on there or not?
No, I actually was never into psytrance.
Ah, okay. Fair enough. So Super Jimmy is asking, when are you going to do a Eurobeat release? Do you even know what a Eurobeat is?
I think he's referring to the Rave Muzik free release number 3, because I recently did a Eurodance track.
A Eurodance track?
Release. Yeah.
Well, then I think it's something totally different than what Jimmy is saying, because Eurobeat is actually, you know, Italo Disco?
Yeah.
Okay, Eurobeat is like the faster version of Italo Disco, and also made in the 90s.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out if there is even a track that you know. I don't know if you ever heard of Running in the 90s.
Jeez.
No, apparently
I
not.
think Rice sampled that for one track because Running in the 90s.
Yeah.
That sounds very familiar to me. But I'm not sure if I know the tune itself.
I'll show you. I'll send you a YouTube link after the show. So then you.
Okay, so Eurobeat is something different than Eurodance?
Yeah, Eurodance is.
Okay.
Jimmy's asking which one was the Eurodance track.
It's the label code is Rave Free number 303. And it's called Dancing in the Field.
Let's see.
It has a yellow cover.
Wait, is it Rave Free?
Yeah, but it's not on Bandcamp because it was a free release, so you should go to my SoundCloud because the free releases are, I think, only on my SoundCloud.
Let's make it easier for everybody. Stormtrooper SoundCloud. Is this the actual Stormtrooper? Yes, this is the actual Stormtrooper. Free downloads?
Should be in there and also in the playlist Rave Muzik.
And also in the playlist Rave Muzik. Let's see, where's the playlist? Rave Muzik, throwback set, Rave Muzik mixtapes, Rave Muzik. Copy link address. So go check him out here. So go listen to it. Yeah, well, Eurodance is like the Eurodance that you know, like Capella,
Too Unlimited, Magic Affair, La Bouche, Max, Erotic, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, that is the typical Eurodance that you know. And the typical Eurodance is usually around, what is it, like 140 BPM-ish, I guess?
Yeah, about that, yeah.
And Eurobeat, it's the faster version of Italo Disco, and you also usually add between 150 and 160 BPM. So
okay.
It's fast music. I don't know if you ever watch anime.
Yeah.
Ever seen Initial D?
No.
Okay, because Initial D is one of those animes where you hear a lot of Eurobeat.
Okay.
So most Eurobeat lovers they see this more as a racing kind of music, not raving, racing.
Racing, like driving a car.
Like
racing.
driving a car.
Okay.
But I'll definitely send you some samples for that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we are almost at the end of the show, and also track 11 is coming up soon. Yeah, if the chat maybe has some questions for Stormtrooper, I am giving you guys like a few minutes to ask him some questions. If you don't have any questions, then we are going to stop with the show. So, yeah, do you have some other kind of plans for making new tracks in the future or not?
Oh, well, most time is consumed by Rave Muzik and Gabberdisco. I am thought about starting my techno project again.
Okay.
But I will have to see if I can squeeze that in somewhere because, as I said, yeah, I have a 2-year-old son, I have a wife, and I have a daytime job. So making music has its special time of the day and is mainly occupied by rave music and Gabberdisco. Not sure how much I can fit additionally in there.
How much sleep do you get per night?
Most of the time, about 5 hours.
And in the weekends?
5 hours.
Also 5 hours. Are you not tired?
Sometimes I am, but I'm holding up pretty good.
Okay.
So, most of the time, I'm going to bed like at 1 o'clock and getting back up at 6 o'clock because my baby boy is awake.
Ah, damn.
And that is no different on the weekends. The only difference is that after we have breakfast and I play with him, he's not going to kindergarten and I'm going to work, but we continue with playing. But I go to bed at the same time and I get up at the same time. So,
are there also some times that you sleep a little longer, or that's just not possible?
Most of the time it's not possible because my wife needs its sleep and she's reacting very bad to having to get up early. So
there's not a safe thing to say on the internet because what happens
know,
on the internet stays on the internet.
Well, it's only a fact, and she knows about that.
Okay.
I function better during nights. She functions better during days. That's how we split our work. And if he's awake at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm awake at 3 o'clock in the morning, and she sleeps. And during the days, she takes care of him. So everything is cool.
Nice. So, okay, we don't have any questions over here. So I will say this, we are going to end the show with one more track. Yeah.
The hardest on the compilation.
Oh, damn, the hardest. I thought the last one was already hard. So
yeah, but this one is taking it a little further into, let's say, old school terror.
Okay, that's totally more in my street. So, to everybody out there, go support Stormtrooper's label Rave Muzik with Crusaders of Rave. This is the release number 48. It's only £9. Why is it even in pounds and not in euros? Or is it like a personal setting?
I think it's a personal setting.
Oh, then I definitely need to check that one out. But just grab the release and play them to death, or if you're even a DJ, use them to death.
Or burn them to a CD and give them to your mother as a birthday present.
Yeah, that's also a good one. So yeah, Stormtrooper, I want to say thank you very much for taking time to appear on today's show. Also, thank you very much to put your trust in us that we can actually do a showcase for this release. I really enjoyed this whole album. I also enjoy our our one-on-one talk.
Private time.
At private time. Yeah, because it's so totally different compared with the Gabberdisco. Because talking to 4 people or to one-on-one, it's a totally different kind of feeling to it.
Absolutely.
So hopefully we can see you back in, what is it, like 3 weeks from now? In 3 weeks back to Gabberdisco?
Yeah, absolutely.
Then we'll see you in 3 weeks on Gabberdisco. So to everybody in the chat, let's do a quick shout to Drastic Music, Superior Jimmy, Hand of Not, Max VS, Moloch, and there's everybody I see in the chat. We have still one more track to go, and that is Strikes and Crush with Reactive. With Reactive. And the track is called Loyalty. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's show. Thank you very much for joining in today's show. And hopefully... was there some kind of... I need to do this, of course. Let's see, that I need to open this folder. Just give me a sec. Here. So
What are you doing?
now I'm doing some promotion stuff for upcoming Monday. I have my regular shows every Monday on JCore Live, and upcoming Monday we also have a showcase of fucking Hardcore Tokyo. It's a newest release coming out on Mokum. So I don't know what these tracks are. I just know that this is a showcase. I haven't heard them, and nobody has heard them as well. So come join the show.
I'm pretty sure M-Trax will be on there, who has also released on Rave Muzik several times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he does some excellent 90s roughneck style hardcore.
Oh, okay. I am definitely interested in that. So, every Monday I'm streaming at the same time. So, if you like J-Core, come over to J-Core Live every Monday. And, of course, every last Tuesday of the month we have the Cheesy Tuesday. And that means Gabberdisco Night Live, where you can also see this pretty boy, pretty man over there. Sexy beast. So he will also appear together with the other cheese lords, and he will drink more Lafroig. Did you even drink some Lafroig today?
Yeah, I did. It was just very
Limited.
in the background, just taking a sip, like.
Okay, so it's not like the actual Gabberdisco shows.
Nah, I tried not to be wasted this time.
Okay. Now, once again, thank you very much for today, and let's listen to the last track, and that is Strikes and Crash with Reactive, Loyalty.
And right.
Honor code loyalty. Honor code loyalty. probably save lives, and my existence, while grotesque and incomprehensible to you, saves lives. You don't want to treat us down in places you don't talk about at parties. You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall. I'm going to blanket the very freedom I provide, and the questions the manner in which I provide it. I would rather you just said thank you.